40 years of being in this business enriched my life in more ways than just money. It's about the relationships and the joy from it.
What's your definition of loyalty?
Know who's on your side, who's got your back. Treat them the same way.
You have one choice to start a team around, and it's Kobe, Shaq, or Michael Jordan. Who's your first pick? The question that I think everybody wants to know is, did you miss me?
I think you were right here behind me all the time. I felt it.
I know, but I felt like I wasn't good enough in front of you, but behind you is not good enough as well. So, Phil, I just want to talk because people are wondering, you've got a cane. How old are you now?
77.
77, wow. I still look really good. So, is it basketball-related injuries, or is it the knees? Or because even when you're playing, you're always at that higher seat than everybody else. And you had excellent posture, by the way. Just very, so what was it? What is it right now happening?
Well, when I was in my second year as a player, I herniated discs, L4-5-S1, and I had to have a fusion. I sat out a year and have a fused lower back, so that's one of the reasons I probably sit like this. And as a result, I have a atrophied nerve damage in the calf of my right leg here, the soleus muscle, which controls your toe, your big toe. And so there's a lot of things that emanated out of that. Eventually, you know, somewhere in my 10th year, I came back and was ready to start playing again. Hadn't done a lot of workout. In the summer, I've been building a house at kind of a personal challenge to build a house and collaborate with a brother and another person, a friend of mine. And I came back and I wasn't able to dunk. All of a sudden, this is my power leg because I'm a left-hander. And I needed to stop, build it up, get it back again. And as a result, all these other things have fallen behind the knee. I've had this knee replaced, both my hips replaced. So, you know, I'm a little bit of a walking, you know, alarm when I go through the airport.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, it really was.
Why?
Well, there's a lot of joy in the activity that, you know, and being part of the 40 years of being in this business or more has been enriched my life in more ways than just money. Money is not the item or the principle about that. It's about the relationships and the joy from it.
So Michael and Kobe, and even Shaq, very strong personalities, right? Leaders, great players. Did they ever disrespect you? Like as a coach, things get heated, locker room, stuff like that. And how did you like give them a pass because it's them, or did you like straighten up the authority role, or you never really had that relationship where it even got to that level of that?
No, I had that with some players. I had it with Kobe in the first rundown. He went through the incident in Colorado that was, an abuse case that was settled out of court. And during that year was a very difficult year for him. He was angry. And we brought in Karl Malone and Gary Payton to shore up the team, and we lost, Robert Horry and some of the players, Rick Fox, and some of the players that had been part of a championship, and we kind of replaced them with these two guys that were really stars. And Kobe had a real hard time that year and was disrespectful. And so I went in and told the leadership that, even though we were negotiating a contract, that I think that Kobe was uncoachable and he was difficult to handle at this time. Probably wasn't the best coach. I wasn't the best coach for him. And that totally turned around 2 years later when we reunited and we went through this final 4 or 5 years of my coaching and won a couple championships. He and I just had a meeting of the minds, and I think it was the idea that I had tried to harness him in a way. When I first came to the Lakers, I couldn't believe how many things he did that resembled Michael Jordan. I mean, the poses, the way he played the game. He did everything but the tongue, you know. Michael always had his tongue out when he was doing something at the very moment of that moment. And Kobe didn't have his hands, but he used to do all the very same things. Stand and hold his hand up in the same way Michael did in a final shot against Utah Jazz. And I just was like, Kobe, don't take over the ball games. Just, it's not time. You know, he was 21, 22 years of age at the time. That's what he wanted to do, most of all. And so when I came back to coach him when he was 26, 27, a father, and his life had changed considerably, he understood all of that. But what he understood more than anything was about leadership, about being the leader, and how you make other players better, not just about how you make your star shine.
Do you think, I always saw that it's important to have a coach, and do you think that people, players or business, without coaching, they can't really truly excel to their best potential? Like, can people self-coach themselves to greatness? And what do you think the role of a coach should be? And what was your role?
You know, I look at these tennis players, and these tennis players go through coaches. And the one thing about tennis is that they've never been able to coach from the grandstands. They can't even, you know, not supposed to send hand signals or anything else. But I got close to some of the tennis players on the pro circuit, and I was like, how does that help you? And they said, it helps from the standpoint of mental mind control and about when you're not in sync, being in sync. And sometimes we get in our own way, and sometimes it just takes someone to say, hey, settle down.
Accountability.
Be who you are.
So why do people quit? Right? Great talent, great people, they have this amazing opportunity, and they quit and they settle. Why is that? I mean, you've coached great players, and you've probably coached people that didn't work out. What's the difference?
I think it's an internal drive. I think there's something that is in somebody's background, the parental background, their childhood, something that is bump them either in a way in which they want to succeed, and they're driving towards that, or they're driving for success, or they've been dented or shunned or somehow or other dampened as a child, and they can only go so far. Then they don't want to be in the spotlight. They don't want to be at that pressure point. They don't want to have to deal with all the things that come along with success. And when there's success, there's a lot of things to deal with.
I asked a couple of people that know you, and they said one word to describe you is loyalty. I'm a big believer in loyalty, you know, 24/7, 365. What's your definition of loyalty?
Well, know who's on your side, who's got your back, and then treat them the same way.
What's next for you? Obviously, you haven't done much, and I'm so honored that you've been here before, and you're building a house and doing all these things. What's next for you at this point?
I'm collaborating on a book about 75 anniversary of the NBA, and the 75 players that were chosen for that 75 greatest. And my co-author, Sam Smith, wrote the book about Michael Jordan rules. And right now he's going through a health issue, so we kind of held back on it. But I've just said it's not going to be, I don't want it to be, out front blockbuster type thing that's done by one of the 4 big printing companies. I want it to be something that's subtle, silent, quiet, just to be remembered. Looking back at these 75 years, the differences in the game, what it's like now as opposed to what it was like when I was a player, or what is it like when George Mikan came in the game and played in the game in the 40s.
What makes you the most happy when you were playing basketball, and what makes you the most happy now? Or when you're coaching basketball versus what makes you happy now? What brings you joy?
One of my trainers said, the moment that we have to capture is when we're on the bus, leaving a visiting arena, we've won the game, and the fans are beating on the bus and yelling names at us.
Last question. We're putting a basketball team together, right? And that's a good idea. I wasn't going to do that, but we could start our own team. By the way, have you ever ventured in the business world? Did you ever?
Oh.
What kind of businesses and what?
It was a health club.
A gym, like before playing, after playing, during the.
In between playing and coaching.
And how did that go?
Went okay. The hospital eventually bought the club from.
Did you like being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I did.
What did you like about it?
I like the dedication to making it a success.
Did you manage your managers and people in the same way you managed no? Completely,
No.
So completely different style.
I had a partner, so we shared kind of duties, and I did a lot of the, radio, 15
Promotion
minutes
side.
on the radio talking about health and going to see the Kiwanis Club and the Lions Club and things like that, And he took care of the swimming pool, the mechanics and the boiler and the chemistry that was in the swimming pool. And we took care together of the chemistry of our workers.
So last question. So you have one choice to start a team around, and it's Kobe, Shaq, or Michael Jordan. Who's your first pick?
Michael Jordan has got to be the first pick. He was extremely coachable.
You know what? My first pick is you, because I know that I'll never make you happy, so I'll work very hard to make you happy, so that one day when I give you a championship of business, you'll be like, you did okay. So in closing, what did you think, Phil, of the interview and this crowd and everything? I am ending before our time is done. What did you think, and did we live up to those expectations for you?
Well, I think I should ask the crowd. What do you think?
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Jackson. Any final word of Zen advice you have for all of us, Dad?
Be of good cheer.
Phil Jackson, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.